where respect is earned. Excel here and you could go down in history. It's the final third. CVM TV's weekly JPL preview show every Sunday, starting 30 minutes before our live broadcast. Get insight, analysis, and hear from your favorite players weekly, just before we bring you our feature broadcast for the day. Move from defense to attack and join us in the final third. This and every Sunday until the end of the JPL season.
What would you do if a date asked you how much you weigh?
Ask him how much his mama weigh.
All new Family Feud.
Thanks so much for joining us for CVM News at noon this Friday, May 2, 2025. I am Curlin Brown, and we begin with this CVM update. The police constable who alleges he was assaulted by officers attached to the specialized unit of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the JCF in Kingston, is on sick leave, away from his regular duties at the Savannah Lamar Police Station. A source quotes him as saying he feels like one man against the world since the incident during the last week of April. Reports are he was at home when the team turned up. It's further reported the constable, who has been a member of the JCF since 2006, was informed he was being investigated for a firearm-related incident. Allegations are he refused to give access to his house and an altercation developed, during which time the constable alleges he was physically assaulted by members of the team. Now, a source also quotes the constable as saying it's hard considering his space was invaded. The Independent Commission of Investigation, INDECOM, confirms a probe is underway into the case of alleged assault. Now, after much controversy about the procurement of a $3 million drill to be used in surgeries at the Bustamante Hospital for Children, the BHC, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, in a tour of the facility, says it was fitting to showcase the drill and highlight the benefits of the equipment.
We can't have our cake and eat it. If we say that we are about trying to modernize our healthcare facilities, offer better space for people to work, which is why we're building out hospitals, offer better tools and equipment to treat more patients in a quicker time, to get them through the door, to heal them. We have to follow technology. I mean, it's quite logical, right? I don't understand all of this. I'm not involved in that process, but what I can tell you is that based on what the neurosurgeons are saying, and they have been involved in the process, what we have done is had a giant leap from, your words, prehistoric to modern equipment in order to do procedures that previously could not have been done.
This from the region. Kamla Prasad-Buseser has been sworn in as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago for a second time, having previously held the office in 2010. Speaking on CVM's lead story, lead editor in news gathering at Guardian Media in Trinidad and Tobago, Kajan Haynes, notes while many citizens appear to be disillusioned with the previous administration, there remains some uncertainty regarding Prasad-Buseser's capabilities as she returns to leadership.
Typically, we vote people out rather than vote them in. So I think it really was a rejection of the Rowley administration. A lot of people are still wary of the Kamala Persad-Bissessar government, given how things went back in between 2010 and 2015. It was not a smooth run for them. But the hope is, and I think a lot of people hope, that she learned from her mistakes and she doesn't make the same mistakes again. She's already promised that if any of her MPs or ministers step out of line, and she said, if you're rude to the people, like, I have no problem removing you. So we wait to see. Like, you really kind of hope she's getting a second chance and she doesn't mess it up.
And up to Thursday night, the political situation in the Cayman Islands remained undecided, as no single party had secured the majority 10 out of 19 seats needed to appoint a new premier, resulting in efforts to form a coalition government.
It means is there's going to be a coalition government of some sort. We simply don't know when that will happen. Of the major casualties across the Cayman Islands, perhaps the most significant would be that of the former Speaker of the House and former leader of government business, former Premier, Mr. Makiva Bush of West Bay West. Mr. Makiva Bush was the father of the House, having served for 40 years, and he was ousted by first-time candidate Miss Julia Hides of West Bay West. So that was perhaps the largest shocker of them all, although there are signs, some might say. Another person that we saw lose their seat was another sitting member, was Miss Sabrina Turner of the Prospect constituency. But Prospect is a swing state, if you might. We've seen over the course of the last several elections where the incumbent is ousted with a new face coming in. So Miss Turner, Sabrina Turner, who previously held the seat, ousted Mr. Austin Harris, who, and now she's in turn been ousted by Mr. Michael Miles.
You know, every year on April 22, Earth Day is observed, and this year the Sandals Foundation showed its give back to the environment with the annual tree planting exercise. Here's Adrian Williams with more.
Leave the trees and let them play. Lord, Lord, can't you see you destroy the environment?
See, trees contribute to the environment by providing oxygen, improving air quality, climate control, conserving water, preserving soil, and supporting wildlife. This is why annually on Earth Day, April 22, the Sandals Foundation, in partnership with the Jamaica Fire Brigade, JFB, and the Forestry Department, team up to give back to the environment. Hotel manager for Sandals Ocheria St. Anne, Gary Holgate, is always ready to take on this annual project as he sees it benefiting generations to come.
We started this whole initiative all the way back from 2017, and we would have planted over 3,000 trees since then. And funny enough, even during COVID, when everybody was on the lockdown, we were here planting trees during the course of that time.
The JFB participated in the tree planting exercise to aid not just in replacing lost trees, but also to prevent bushfires. Assistant Commissioner in charge of Area 2, Julian Davis Buckle, explains.
This initiative in preventing bushfires, what it does is give awareness to people and telling them not to burn, how to burn if they must burn, when not to burn, and teaching them about the Town and Country Fire Act. Because a lot of people don't know that there's an act to prevent us from burning. And that is why we have a lot of careless fires.
The Bogue 2 Forest Reserve in St. Anne serves a big purpose, linking the tourism product to the natural environment. Something First Manager from the Forestry Department from the Northwest region, Ian Wallace, is urging developers and the citizens to pay attention to.
So the more pristine the water is in terms of how clean it is, then it assists the product. You can advertise that you have clean water. Right? So forestry is not just concentrating on what happens inland. Yes, that's our job, but we have to move beyond whatever happened in the reserve to what's happening on our coastline, because most of our GDP comes out of the tourism area.
The experience was quite edifying for all, including 10-year-old Shania Buckle.
And I got to explore the different types of plants and animals around us in nature. I got to plant at least 5 trees.
To be honest, it's my first time planting a tree. For most of us here, we were got familiar with the blue maho plant, the cedar tree, and the bitterwood. That's the name of the bitterwood plant. So we planted those 3 trees today.
In essence, the Sandals Foundation, JFB, and the Forestry Department implore us to leave the trees in preserving the environment. Adrian Williams reporting for CVM News.
Thank you, Adrian. You're watching CVM News at noon. We invite you to join us for our discussion segment up next.
At the Jamaica Pegasus this Saturday to gift and celebrate mothers and teachers. It's Sugar Lifestyle's Grand Mother's Day Expo by the Legacy Suite from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Sweet and Soothing Edition with free entry. Dress comfortably for Relax Restore Massage packages by Orville. Shop over 30 local businesses with handcrafted personal care products, tasty bites and beverages, home decor and accents, and more. Enjoy family fun on the terrace, giveaways and bingo at 2 to win a day pass for 2 at Grand Bahia. Come to Sugar Lifestyle's Mother's Day Expo at the Jamaica Pegasus this Saturday, May 3, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. All are welcome and it's free.
Hey you know all the people in your business?
You should take advantage of CVM TV's unbeatable small business advertising package. Trust me.
And get your goods and services in front of your customers today.
For $150,000, you get a high-quality professional commercial.
Plus 20 prime-time commercial spots.
That's massive exposure at a fraction of the cost.
Including on the #1 morning show in Jamaica, Sunrise.
So don't wait. Call us on 658-208-5377 and see your business goals happen right here on CVM Television. Welcome back. It's time for our discussion segment. Now, on May 26, 2023, Tisha Clark Griffiths became president of the Jamaica Civil Service Association, the JCSA, the first woman to hold the position in 104 years. Her passion to uphold the highest qualities of professional service to the nation has broken barriers, and she's right here with us in the studios to discuss a number of issues impacting public servants in Jamaica. And so we welcome the 17th president of the Jamaica Civil Service Association, the JCSA, Tisha Clark Griffiths. Welcome and thank you so much. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
You're still basking in the moment. The impact of being the first.
Well, that was 2023,
Right.
and I was returned on the 16th of April unopposed. So I'm going into my second term, starting on the 1st of June. So I am honored that of the confidence that my members have, instilled in me, and I am looking forward to continue to represent them with distinction.
Definitely. I say woman power.
Thank you so much.
So occupational safety and health is a concern for everyone. How is the JCA helping to identify gaps in that regard?
Right. So the Occupational Safety and Health Act has not been passed in the public service as yet. We have in our heads of agreement the proposal for it to be initiated. And what we have is the Factories Act that we are currently governed by, and so there's also the OSH policy that is currently in the Ministry of Finance. I believe that there has to be some alacrity in terms of getting the act passed, because some workplaces are in need of infrastructure development, and occupational safety and health is critical to wholesome workplace development. The JCSC has gone ahead in developing our own strategies, and we actually develop a tool that we'll use to measure how safe our workplace is in the public service. We are far advanced in that regard.
And so we would have reached out to you now because of that 72-hour strike notice from the Jamaica Fire Brigade, their drivers and mechanics. Has it been resolved?
Not fully. So the drivers and mechanics of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, this issue has been going on since 2013. The drivers and mechanics are contract workers. And so we are having a little challenge in how we deal with contract workers in the public service. And of course, you'd have known that I have been championing that cause since I came in 2023. We have had a number of transitions from contract to established posts, but specifically for the drivers and contractors, their remuneration is extremely low. I can tell you that the maximum that a driver in the Jamaica Fire Brigade gets is $65,000 per month, and that is indeed an embarrassment to the compensation in the public service. And so we are at a point now where we're...
Hold that point. We want to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Stay with us.
The time is 12:15.
Welcome back to CVM News at Noon. You were going to tell us about you were talking to us about the salary scale.
Right. So for drivers in the Jamaica Fire Brigade, they are the lowest paid drivers in the public service. And I can imagine the type of vehicle that they have to navigate on a daily basis. A pumper and a tanker driver is important to the efficiency of the Jamaica Fire Brigade. And so we have lobbied the Jamaica Fire Brigade to transition those drivers from contract to establishment so that they can be paid properly. And those, well, we have agreed on a timeline for the transition to take place. So temporarily we have withdrawn the 72-hour notice, and we have a commitment from the Jamaica Fire Brigade to have those matters resolved by the end of May, and for payments of retroactive activity to be made by the end of June 2025.
All right, so this may be a little blushing topic, but I want to read it. Ethical standards in the workplace is also topical. What do you now make of Thursday's news regarding hickeys in Parliament?
I'm laughing because I really thought that was a joke. When I read the memorandum that was sent to staff, I think it's an opportunity for us to have a conversation around professionalism and decorum in the workplace. And I believe that the memorandum was a little bit overreach, because we have to think about how we discipline public servants, and how it was structured was out of line. There is something called due process, and we have to ensure that we adhere by the public service regulation as well as the staff orders, and that in itself was not in keeping with those principles. And so whilst we agree that standards and professionalism and decorum is important, we also need to be mindful that workers' rights and the way we administer discipline in the public service is also very important for us to adhere to.
Importantly, too, I may ask you to address the matter of sexual harassment.
Well, the Sexual Harassment Act was passed, and we are far advanced in having sexual harassment policies in the workplace. I can say in this regard that a number of workplaces and public offices have their sexual harassment policy, and I'm happy to announce that one of my industrial relations officers, Brother Latiba there, sits on that committee that deals with the appeals, and so I am extremely proud of the progress that we have made in that regard.
So there is a tribunal.
The tribunal, he actually sits on that, and that, you know, that meeting was held recently. He participated in it, so we're happy.
Well, you're the leader, you're the head, but are you happy with how things are going with the association?
I'm comfortable at the moment. Of course, I have been able to champion a lot of causes, and of course, you know, the return of our increment was the #1 issue that we have, and I'm happy to say that was returned and will be paid in this quarter between April and June. We go back to negotiations. You know, we're at the table currently treating with matters of importance for public servants, and although we see what is happening in the geopolitical space, we're mindful, but we are also it is also important for us to ensure that we get the best for our public servants, and I am, as the leader of the 30,000 in my union, will be leading that for my members to ensure that when we go to the table, we get the maximum for the members of the Jamaica Civil Service
So we can therefore say more persons are now entering the public service. Are you saying that, or?
We are saying that we have seen a growth in our membership. We have 110,000 public servants.